I installed the camera in the hallway because I was irritated, not because I was afraid. Every night someone walked past my door and stopped there for a few seconds before continuing down the corridor. When I opened the door, the hallway was always empty and the sound was already gone. After it happened several times, I realized I needed proof that it wasn't just my imagination. That was the moment I decided to record what was happening outside my apartment. I mounted the camera across from my door so it could see the entire hallway clearly and without blind spots. I enabled motion detection and went to bed expecting nothing more than empty recordings and wasted time. The next morning, I found 6 motion alerts waiting for me. The first few showed an empty corridor with stable lighting and no visible movement. One of the later recordings looked different, even though there was still a person visible in the frame. A dark shape appeared near my door and disappeared again without moving through the hallway. I replayed the clip several times and slowed it down to understand what triggered the camera. That was when I noticed the shape did not approach the door from either direction. It appeared directly in front of it, stayed briefly, and then vanished as if it had never been there. The following night, the camera triggered again while I was standing inside my apartment. I did not hear footsteps this time, but the alert appeared on my phone anyway. When I reviewed the footage, I felt an immediate sense of unease. The dark shape formed again near my door, but this time its position was slightly different. It did not align with the hallway floor or the wall shadows. It looked closer, as if it belonged on the inside rather than the outside. The door itself never moved. The handle stayed in the same position, and the lock did not react. The only thing that changed was the presence of the shape, which appeared as if it was checking something before fading out. On the third night, I decided to stay awake and listen instead of relying on the camera alone. I stood quietly behind the door and waited for the familiar sound of movement in the hallway. Around 3 in the morning, I heard steps stop directly outside my apartment. They did not rush or hesitate, and they matched the timing of the earlier recordings. The camera triggered again, and my phone vibrated in my hand. I stayed where I was and did not open the door. The sound ended on its own, but the feeling of being observed did not fade with it. When I checked the footage later that morning, I noticed something I had missed before. The shape appeared earlier in the frame than the motion alert suggested. It was already present when the recording began, as if the camera detected movement after it had arrived. That meant whatever triggered the system was not moving in a normal way. I paused the video at the exact moment the shape vanished. For a brief frame, it looked like it was withdrawing toward my door rather than away from it. That detail stayed with me longer than the footage itself. I called the building manager and asked whether cameras were allowed in shared hallways. He hesitated before answering, and told me that hallway cameras were not permitted. When I asked for a reason, he said they interfered with a system that monitored occupancy. His explanation was vague, but his tone was firm. He warned me not to keep recording and suggested I remove the camera as soon as possible. The call ended before I could ask any further questions. That warning made the situation feel deliberate rather than accidental. That night, the camera triggered again while I was already awake. I did not hear movement outside the door, but I sensed that something had changed. The alert appeared on my phone, and at the same moment, I felt air shift behind me. I turned slowly toward the hallway inside my apartment. The recording was still running. I did not need to watch it to know what it had captured. This time, whatever appeared was no longer checking the door. It had already passed it.